focus. I come from a focused place. I come from compassion. It's just my nature.
I'm honestly more nervous about having you here than I am
You
about...
are not. You are not.
I swear, I really am.
Oprah Winfrey just did the unthinkable. She turned herself in, sending shockwaves through Hollywood and beyond. The woman who built an empire on trust and inspiration is now caught in a scandal no one saw coming. What could be so powerful that it forced Oprah to take this shocking step? Tune in, because the truth behind this story caused the whole country to cancel Oprah forever. When speaking up gets you shut out. For years, Oprah has built her brand on inspiration, connection, and influence. But Ice Cube's words paint a different picture, one where certain voices, especially those that don't fit the mold, get shut out. Hollywood isn't just about talent, it's about control. And if you're not in the right circle, doors start slamming shut. Ice Cube has felt it firsthand. Despite his legendary career, he's been blocked from platforms, snubbed from interviews, and kept at arm's length from the very people who claim to uplift voices like his. If he's telling the truth, then Hollywood isn't as open as it pretends to be. Before we dive deeper, it's clear that Ice Cube's revelations are only the beginning, and what's coming next will shake the very foundations of Hollywood's power. This isn't just about a couple of missed interviews, it's about a bigger machine, one that decides who gets to speak and who gets silenced. Cube's been around long enough to see it in action. His movie Barbershop? The cast was invited to Oprah's show except for him. His series Black White? Same deal. And now, the pieces are coming together. This isn't an accident. This is a pattern. He's not just another celebrity with a grudge, he's someone who dared to challenge the system, and for that, he's been kept out. But what does that say about the system itself? The entertainment world thrives on narratives, the carefully crafted stories they want the public to believe. But the moment someone steps outside that story, the backlash is real. Cube isn't backing down, he's speaking with people Hollywood doesn't approve of. Tucker Carlson, Joe Rogan, Piers Morgan, anyone willing to give him a platform. And that, apparently, is a problem. If you go against the script, the industry turns on you. The real question is, who's pulling the strings? And why are they so afraid of people thinking for themselves? But here's where things take a turn. Oprah, the face of empowerment, suddenly being dragged into the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. She's built her empire on inclusivity, but if Cube's right, that might just be a well-crafted illusion. If she's keeping people like him out, then who else has been silenced? And why? The idea that she's just another player in a much bigger game is sending shockwaves through her audience. People are asking questions, and for the first time, Oprah doesn't seem to have the perfect answer. Cube isn't just calling out individuals, he's calling out an entire system. One that decides who gets famous, who stays famous, and who disappears from public view. And it's not about talent. It's about loyalty to the machine. Those who don't fall in line, they're erased, discredited, or pushed out. Cube has felt it. Others have too. But now, people are starting to wake up. If Hollywood has been lying about this, what else have they been hiding? And just like that, the floodgates open. More people come forward with similar stories. Independent thinkers, outspoken voices, those who dared to challenge the status quo. The pattern is too clear to ignore. Hollywood isn't a meritocracy, it's a club. And if you're not playing by their rules, you're not invited. But what happens when people stop waiting for an invitation? The cracks in the system are starting to show. Social media has made it harder to keep these stories under wraps. Cube's voice is reaching people and they're listening. The old gatekeepers are losing control. They can't shut everyone out forever. The more they try, the more obvious it becomes. People are asking if Ice Cube can be shut out despite his success. Who else has been kept down? Some people talk about breaking barriers. Others actually do it. When someone calls out the invisible walls in industries built to keep the right people in and everyone else out, you'd think folks would listen, but no. Instead, they get pushed aside, silenced, or told they're just imagining things. That's why one voice refuses to back down, choosing instead to put the industry on blast with the Gatekeepers podcast tour. A tour that isn't just about talking, it's about exposing how power is controlled and who really benefits from the system. Ice Cube knows how things really work, and he won't just go along with it, but when he starts telling the truth, powerful people try to shut him up. The doors that close when you say no. The game has rules, not written down, of course. That would make it too obvious. Instead, these rules are whispered in meetings, passed along between the ones already sitting at the table. Step out of line, speak up, try to do things your own way, and suddenly doors slam shut. People who once called you brilliant act like they don't even know your name. This isn't just paranoia. It's real, and it's designed to keep outsiders from taking a seat at the big table. So what happens when someone like Ice Cube refuses to play along? The industry gets nervous, and when he says he's bringing these issues straight to the people, they panic because they know once the truth is out, they won't be able to spin it anymore. While he's out there telling it like it is, some would rather pretend everything's just fine. Take Oprah, for example. A powerhouse, a media queen, someone who built an empire by uplifting voices. But now, people are starting to ask tough questions about whose voices she's really lifting and whose she's keeping down. Black artists, the very people she claims to champion, are calling her out for pay gaps and unfair treatment. Taraji P. Henson, a star with undeniable talent, didn't just drop hints, she made it clear that the system isn't fair, even when people at the top say they care. And what did Oprah do? She played defense, saying it wasn't up to her, that the budget wasn't in her hands, but if she wasn't the one controlling it, who was? And why does this pattern keep happening? But let's not pretend this is new. The entertainment industry thrives on double standards. If you're willing to follow the script, everything's golden. The moment you step out of line, suddenly you're the problem. Ice Cube learned that firsthand when he refused to get the COVID vaccine for a film role. One decision, his personal choice, and Hollywood shut its doors on him. They claim to support autonomy, yet punish people for not falling in line. The same thing happens when he talks about media control. He dares to question who pulls the strings, and suddenly he's controversial. But is he wrong, or is he just saying things that make the right people uncomfortable? Then, of course, there's the conversation no one really wants to have, the one about identity and how we're supposed to talk about it. Ice Cube makes one comment about how certain groups get unconditional support while others get attacked, and suddenly he's a villain. His point? If someone says they were born a certain way, society rushes to affirm them. But if a man says he was born with instincts he can't change, he's labeled toxic. Now, whether you agree or not, the reaction to his words tells you everything you need to know. Some voices are welcomed, others are silenced. And that silence? It's intentional. Oprah Winfrey has built an empire on her image of kindness, wisdom, and social awareness, but not everyone is convinced. Some see her as a powerful voice for justice, while others claim she carefully picks which causes to champion, leaving some issues strangely untouched. Her influence is massive, there's no denying that, but when you pull back the curtain, things start to look a little different. The woman who has spent decades shaping public opinion might just have a few skeletons in her closet. Take her stance on social justice. She's been vocal about issues like racial inequality and discrimination, using her platform to bring attention to cases like George Floyd's. She's invited big names like Ava DuVernay and Stacey Abrams to discuss these problems, and she presents herself as a warrior against injustice. But here's the catch. Some critics argue she only highlights the stories that fit her brand. The moment a topic gets too complicated, too uncomfortable, or too close to her own circle, she seems to look the other way. Is her activism truly about change, or is it just another carefully crafted PR move? And then there's the whole issue of woke culture. She's been pushing ideas about systemic oppression and privilege for years, but not everyone is buying it. When she tells young graduates to walk out on speakers who challenge their beliefs, is she really encouraging independent thinking, or is she promoting a dangerous kind of echo chamber? Some people think it's hypocritical for billionaires like her to lecture regular people about social justice when they live in gated mansions, untouched by the struggles of everyday folks. How does someone with unlimited wealth and power claim to understand the hardships of the average person? More people are speaking out, and now Oprah is at the center. Her past choices have people wondering if she really helps others or just protects her own image. When influence becomes control. Speaking of wealth, let's talk about what really fuels unhappiness in America. According to Oprah, social media envy is the main culprit. People scroll through their feeds, comparing their lives to carefully edited snapshots, and suddenly they feel miserable. She says envy is the great destroyer of happiness. But is that really the biggest problem people face? What about inflation, rising crime, or the widening gap between rich and poor? Funny how those topics never seem to make it to the top of her talking points. Could it be that focusing on social media drama is a convenient distraction from the deeper issues plaguing society? Then there's her support for gender fluidity and finding your true self. She insists that people should only surround themselves with those who uplift and energize them. On the surface, that sounds empowering, but does this mean cutting off anyone who disagrees with you? Some critics believe she promotes a culture where disagreement is seen as negativity. When did honest debate and personal growth become the enemy? And who exactly decides which voices should be heard and which should be ignored? But the real controversy comes when you start looking at the accusations against her. Rapper 50 Cent has openly criticized her for disproportionately targeting black men in the #MeToo movement while seemingly ignoring similar allegations against powerful white men in Hollywood. It's hard to ignore the pattern. She's gone after people like Michael Jackson and Russell Simmons, but where was the same energy for others accused of similar crimes? This has fueled the belief that Oprah picks and chooses who to hold accountable based on what best suits her public image. Is it justice, or is it selective outrage? And then there's the most disturbing topic of all, her alleged ties to Diddy's infamous parties. Some sources claim that Oprah played a role in providing and preparing young girls for these events, raising unsettling questions about how deep her involvement goes, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. The real bombshell is the controversy surrounding her Leadership Academy for Girls in South Africa. This prestigious school was supposed to be a beacon of hope for underprivileged girls. Instead, it's been shrouded in dark allegations. Reports surfaced that multiple students went missing from the Academy's graduating classes, yet there has been little media coverage. Why is that? Where did these girls go, and why isn't anyone talking about it? Critics believe Oprah's influence is so vast that these stories are being buried before they can gain traction. If true, this would be one of the biggest scandals of her career. But instead of addressing these claims head-on, the mainstream narrative continues to portray her as a selfless philanthropist. The school has faced serious misconduct allegations before. Authorities once uncovered disturbing accusations involving staff members targeting young students. In one case, an employee was charged with 13 counts of inappropriate behavior towards children, with at least 6 girls between the ages of 13 and 15 allegedly being victimized. Oprah publicly promised to get to the bottom of the situation. But in the end, the accused was cleared of wrongdoing, and some say Oprah played a role in ensuring the case disappeared. If that's true, what does it say about the person the world sees as an untouchable icon of good? The drama escalated when a shocking incident rattled a school involving a newborn baby being found under circumstances many say were linked to trafficking. But the headlines didn't stop there. Monique, in a tell-all interview, laid out her accusations against Oprah, claiming the media mogul played a role in blocking her from major roles after her Oscar win for Precious. She didn't mince words. She felt betrayed, manipulated, and cast aside. The roles she was promised? Given to someone else, and the people responsible? She pointed directly at Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry. Monique's story isn't just about losing jobs. It's about what happens when you stand up to the most powerful people in Hollywood and refuse to stay quiet. A voice they tried to silence. And then there's the betrayal that hit even closer to home. Monique revealed a deeply personal wound, her brother's troubling past. She claimed Oprah reached out about bringing him onto her show to discuss his history of abuse, pretending to be considerate. But Monique wasn't convinced. She sensed something was off. Then, before she knew it, her entire family was on television, talking about her life, her pain, and things she never agreed to share. This wasn't just a conversation, it was a complete disregard for her trust. Monique's frustration wasn't just about her career. It was about the way powerful figures use and discard people when it suits them. She had been labeled difficult for saying one word, no. That one decision cost her opportunities, deals, and even friendships. But who decides what's difficult? Is it difficult to demand fair pay? Is it difficult to refuse to be controlled? According to Hollywood, the answer is yes. Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey, and Lee Daniels made sure she understood the cost of defying them. They took her career and tried to take her voice, but Monique isn't one to stay quiet. Then there's the bigger issue, how the industry treats black women who don't fall in line. Monique didn't just call out names, she called out a system designed to keep women like her in check. She didn't just fight for herself, she fought for every performer who has been pushed aside, underpaid, and blacklisted for demanding respect. And what did she get in return? Years of exile from the industry she worked so hard to be part of. The contradictions are too big to ignore. Oprah spent decades telling people to live their truth, be strong, and take control of their own lives. She built her entire brand around these ideas. But when it came to Monique, things didn't seem to match up. Oprah speaks about fairness and self-worth in public, but Monique believes that behind closed doors, she plays by a different set of rules. Monique has said that Oprah is part of a system that does not welcome those who refuse to follow the unspoken rules of Hollywood. It is not just about Monique. There have been other moments when Oprah's choices raised questions. Over the years, people have pointed out that she supported some controversial figures. Some say she stood by people with troubling pasts, while others believe she looked the other way when powerful men in the entertainment industry abused their positions. These are not small accusations, and the conversations about them are not fading. More and more people are asking tough questions, trying to understand what really happens when the cameras are off. And this backlash, it is not going away anytime soon. Monique refuses to stay silent. She has spoken about this in interviews, shared her thoughts on stage, and used every opportunity to make sure people know what happened to her. No matter how much Hollywood tries to push her aside, she refuses to let them erase her. She is not just defending her own career, she is standing up for every actor, performer, and creative person who has been silenced, ignored, or punished for speaking out. In an industry that often rewards obedience, Monique is choosing to fight. She will not let the pressure break her, and she will not allow people to forget how Hollywood treated her. It is not just about her, it is about everyone who has ever felt locked out because they dared to speak up. For too long, Hollywood has controlled who gets opportunities and who is pushed into the background. But Monique is forcing the industry to look at something it would rather avoid: the reality of what happens to those who refuse to follow along. Her fight is not just about getting roles or saving her career, it is about fairness, about truth, and about making sure people are held accountable for their actions. It is about exposing those who speak about justice but act differently when it benefits them. This is about power, control, and the voices that have been kept quiet for far too long. The question now is, will Hollywood ever change? Or will those who refuse to be silent always have to fight just to be heard? Monique is not backing down, and whether Hollywood likes it or not, people are finally paying attention. Did Oprah Winfrey turn herself in because of guilt, or is she being forced to take the fall for something much bigger? Could Ice Cube's revelations be exposing a truth so dangerous that even Hollywood's most powerful figures can't escape it? The pieces are coming together, but what's really hiding beneath the surface? Tell us what you think in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.